Hey there. Today's presentation, this video presentation, is session 5 in our syllabus. It would be, if we were meeting face-to-face, it would be Friday, 26 June of 2020. Today I have no admin stuff to share with you. I do occasionally, but not always. However, I have a pretty powerful update. Y'all remember yesterday when I spoke with you, I told you about the econ guy and the theft and all the activity at the Parker College. So, here's an update. The case hasn't been solved, but there's been enormous progress. The Statesboro Police Department, our local agency for the city, sent a tracker dog out. His name is Smokey. He's a bloodhound. He's well-trained, a neat puppy. He wouldn't let me play with him, but I get it. So, SPD has drug dogs and tracker dogs, and I think they might have a bomb-sniffing dog. But the point is, they have 3 canine officers in the Statesboro Police Department. So SPD brought Smokey on site, the tracker, and I think this was really insightful. I'm not sure why the PD figured out that would be smart. So the canine officer and his handler go to the econ guy's office, and of course he's still there in a fetal position, just rocking on the floor, as I understand. I wasn't there. And they thought that getting a scent from his clothing or something would be good in the event that they could track this stuff. They could find out how the thief left the building or whatever the case may be, recognizing that a lot of trails go cold. So, the econ guy wasn't really communicative. He wasn't speaking very well. But what they did is they took off one of his Birkenstock sandals and let Smokey sniff it to get a scent. Okay? I was kind of surprised that Smokey could get a good scent because the guy always wears oatmeal socks with his Birkenstock sandals. Of course he does. He's an econ guy. Probably drives a Prius. I don't know. So, Smokey gets the scent from the sandal, and then he goes woofing down the hall and the staircase, and he just, with his tracker, he just burst through one of the doors, and Smokey and the handler were out there in Diet Coke Plaza, and they found the mittens. Both of them. Yes, they found the mittens. Apparently, y'all know those feral cats that are out there that steal your sandwiches and stuff like that? Apparently, one of the feral cats got in the building, took the opportunity to come in there and get the mittens. Maybe the cat thought it was a kitten or a cousin or something. I don't really know. But anyway, one of the feral cats, or maybe more, maybe there was a gang. Are they a gang? The feral cats stole the mittens. And the PD guys, the canine officer and his handler, found the mittens outside in those bushes just by where Diet Coke Plaza is. So, boy, talk about a happy ending. But the guy, and I get this, he's still inconsolable. His lunchbox, his Power Ranger lunchbox is missing. And now we're involving Interpol. Because you probably know this, there's this international community that deals in a black market for collectibles and art and other high-value things like that. So they're seeing if they can contact anybody in their network, anybody that would be a source, to see if they can find out where the Power Rangers lunchbox is. So we can get this guy back on the road to good mental health. It's just, we are so hopeful. We are supportive and caring, and we are so hopeful that he can rebound. Yes. So, important update on the major event that took place yesterday. So now, you and I are going to talk about Appendix B in this Journal of Management Education article. Once again, all of these appendices are action items for you because you must do what the appendix describes, and then that becomes part of your venture journal. This particular appendix talks about you taking the personal accomplishments that you identified in Appendix A and developing an accomplishments matrix. Now, there is no secret or surprise there. What is a matrix, loved ones? I'm not talking about that Keanu Reeves guy who was doing the slow-mo bullet dodge. Were those the worst movies in the history of worst movies? I think so. But you don't have to. So, a matrix is a rectangular array, isn't it? It's rows and columns. A spreadsheet is a matrix. So I'm asking you to create a matrix of your personal accomplishments. So let me go to Appendix B in the article, and we will look at that guidance together. So, the lead paragraph in Appendix B of the article says that this exercise, the creation of a matrix, should help you better understand the factors that contributed to your success. And I think you'll see why in just a moment. Because if you understand those relationships, that may help you formulate search strategies and make discoveries. So, obviously, since a matrix is a rectangular array, columns and rows, what we need you to do is create a row, starting with the far left column matrix, by writing a description for each of your accomplishments. What if you identified 12? You'd have 12 rows. Well, clearly leave some space. You don't need to compress them. But my point is, you'll start this accomplishments matrix by creating rows, and the rows will be the identifiers of these personal accomplishments. So, now you have rows. For each accomplishment, you need to create column headings by asking yourself, what contributed to my success? And I want to point something out, and we will go back to this in a moment because we'll go back to the body of the paper. The only two things that matter in this context of you creating this accomplishments matrix, as far as column headings, would either be knowledge or skills. Not traits, not physical attributes. Don't tell me that you're cute or devastatingly handsome. Don't tell me about your physical prowess. Well, it could be, because that could be a skill, but knowledge or skills. Those are the only two things that could appear as column headings. Those are the only two things that could describe your discovery. Now, the point is that you may have, and it's entirely possible, you may identify 3 or 4 columns, things that contributed to any particular accomplishment. So I have no idea how many columns you're going to have, and at this point you don't either, because this is a search and discovery exercise. But you have to simply reflect and answer that question. For every accomplishment, what contributed to my success with this particular accomplishment? So the column headings will either be some skill or some sort of prior knowledge. You might say, what if you came up with a really cool idea on a dessert bar in a restaurant? You might say that this knowledge comes from me working in a family restaurant for 4 years and deciding what's best or whatever. So knowledge is a wonderful thing of art, isn't it? It's when we can store information and retrieve it and apply it. So when you come up with these column headings, it's either going to be some sort of prior knowledge that you have. In many cases, it'll be experiential, won't it? In some cases, it could be you doing research. In some cases, it could be an educational input that gave you that knowledge. But the only thing that's appropriate for column headings would either be some domain knowledge or some skill that you possess. And your skills, if we consider this in the context of you being businesswomen and businessmen, your skills aren't going to be physical prowess. Your skills are going to be either technical skills or cognitive skills or interpersonal skills. So again, I just want to make it clear that the only thing that's eligible to be a column heading, to be something that explains an accomplishment, would either be domain knowledge that you possess or some skill that you have acquired. So let's scroll down here and see what else appears. So you can answer this question about what contributed to my success, and you see the comment, this list, there are 7 items here. It's representative, but it's not exhaustive. There are plenty of other things that could explain your personal accomplishment. Education or formal training. What if I grew up on a farm and my dad taught me how to use a chainsaw uncommonly well, and then I competed in one of those timber challenge things, and I won? Would it be because I've had that training and those experiences in an agricultural environment? Possibly. Technical knowledge. What do I know about a particular domain? Conceptual skills. How do you think? How do you synthesize information? How do you approach problem solving? Interpersonal skills. That's just not hugging and handshaking. It's how we communicate. How well do you write? How well do you listen? Are you good at resolving conflict? Can you negotiate? So interpersonal skills casts a very, very wide net. Work experience. I used an example a moment ago that said you came up with a really cool idea for a dessert bar in a restaurant because you'd worked in a family restaurant for a number of years. And you had that set of experiences, and those experiences informed you. So work experience. Knowledge specific to a domain. What if you played soccer since you were 2 years old? I know 2-year-olds can't play soccer. They're still pooping their diapers. But what if you have knowledge specific to a domain? You're a long-term soccer player, or you're a long-term musician, or a cook, or whatever you are. And how about research? There are all sorts of things where you and I can do significant, I'm not talking a 10-minute Google search. I'm talking significant research. So my point is, this list is representative. These are ideas, places that you could sort of sort through and think, yes, that explains this particular accomplishment. But this list is not exhaustive. It's meant to be a primer. It's meant to jumpstart you. It's meant to give you good ideas. So let me scroll down and see what else we have in this appendix. Now, so you've created rows, those are the accomplishments. You've created columns, either skills or domain knowledge that you think would explain your accomplishment. And to be fair, there may be several columns that describe a particular accomplishment. But we want to ask you to do something that is challenging, but it's essential for what we're doing. I'd like you to reflect on each of the factors. Now, if you have only a single factor in your view that contributed to an accomplishment, hallelujah. However, if you have multiple factors, and that would often be the case, if you have multiple factors, we'd like you to reflect on that and choose the one that you think contributed more significantly than any other, and identify that. Put an X in the cell or something that says best or most important or number one or whatever you want to do. In your spreadsheet, some way identify the factor, whether it's a skill or whether it's a domain knowledge, that you think most significantly contributed. I know it's a forced choice, but it's purposeful. And I promise you'll see that this works well. Now, again, we have no idea what educators are going to be using this with what body of students. So we've given you a sample matrix for personal accomplishments, and here it comes. That is so exciting! Look at that! Huh? The matrix, this rectangular array. The rows are your accomplishments, the columns. What was it that explained me accomplishing that particular thing? Now, before we leave the article, I want to go back up into the body. And I want to take a look at what we, the co-authors of this paper, were suggesting that the educators do with their students. So let's go up to session 2 together. Yes, this is so exciting, I can't contain myself. I'm telling you, I'm all jacked up. Not like the econ guy, but I'm all jacked up. I get jacked up naturally. All right. So this matrix is a natural extension of the task in the first session, and that was identifying the personal accomplishments. Pretty straightforward. Column headings. The skills are emphasized because many skills are transferable across contexts. What if you're good with cognitive skills? You're good at problem solving. Could that help you if you were doing a household budget? Could that help you if you were repairing a car? Could that help you in a work context? It could help you everywhere. So my point is that many skills are transferable across multiple contexts. Now, if you're a football player and you're on a 4-second 40-yard dash, that doesn't help you anywhere outside of football, does it? Nobody else cares about your ability to be a wide receiver or a down lineman or whatever the case may be. So, and then of course separately we focus on domain knowledge, and that comes out of the literature. You remember me talking about the Bayesian perspective and arguing that we're all Bayesian actors? The more knowledge we have in a given domain, the better our decisions are. We're all Bayesian actors. If I know nothing about chemical engineering, I could have this remarkable opportunity put in front of me, and I don't have the domain knowledge to capitalize on. And that's true of a lot of things. But my point is that we're all Bayesian actors. The more experience we have, I can promise you, if you're going to be a better driver at the age of 28 than you were at 17, because you'll have 11 years of experience, won't you? And those years of experience driving inform all of your decisions, all of your judgments, ultimately your actions. So experience pays big dividends. So my point is, though, the only thing that, you see this last sentence, only that duality of skills and domain knowledge has value. Now, we actually talk in the article, because in the article we're talking to educators. We talk about avoidance techniques. And we say to them, here's what you need to make sure your students don't do. So let me scroll down so that you can see what some of these things are. So, second sentence in this paragraph. For example, if a column heading completes the sentence, I am, it is impermissible and it must be purged. If you said, I won a pageant in my hometown because I am beautiful, that's right, we bad. I'm not getting any better at that S-snap, am I? I'm working in the men's room hours every day. I'm just trying so hard, but it's just not coming. If your column heading completes the sentence, I am, throw it out. Because you're talking about a physical attribute or a trait. And neither of those things are transferable, are they? I am beautiful. That may be true. That didn't describe your success, I can promise you. In fact, I've been in a lot of beauty contests, and I never do well in swimsuit, but I always do well in talent. Yes, a lot of beauty contests I do. In fact, I've got Instagram channels. I'm doing fashion tips and makeup. I've got one for microblading. Y'all, that is torture. They rip your eyebrows out, then they tattoo new things in there, and there's no anesthesia. Whoever figured out microblading? Cruel, cruel people. All right, so physical attributes, traits, any of those things, they're impermissible because they don't explain what happened. It would either be domain knowledge. You know something about a particular domain. You know a great deal about motorcycles or soccer or baking or whatever your domain is. Or you possess skills. And think about this. These are skills, and to be sure, there are other types of skills. But the skills that are valuable in organizations, in entrepreneurship, are either technical skills or cognitive skills or interpersonal skills. Loved ones, that's your degree here. That's what your degree at the Parker College will give you. A useful blend of technical, cognitive, and interpersonal skills. So we are so appreciative that you chose us because you're the winner. You're the one that's going to get a good job and have a great life. You're not going to have a degree in gender studies and just know how to be bitter and how to pity yourselves. Yes, you will have skills that people will pay for. And then this last speech just says, once you've done the columns, please reflect on each accomplishment and consider which factor contributed to that success and place the mark, and then pick the one that you think is most important. So again, I'm going to scroll down. There's maybe something else there. I don't memorize stuff because it's in print. I don't need to. Oh, so this just talks about the forced choice. You must select one factor that contributed more than any other. And I know it's a forced choice, but it's essential what we're doing. So this is simply the discussion, this session 2 in the body of the article is the discussion that we share with the entrepreneurship educators, and it directly links to Appendix B. So this is for the educators, Appendix B is for you, the students. So everything in Appendix B is an action item. I'm just suggesting, and the reason I did this is you might want to refer back up the discussion in session 2. That might give you more clarity, might give you better understanding, and of course I'm accessible, so if you need me, reach out, but excuse me, please. So I think that's it for session 2 in the article. Let me go down a little bit. And it is. So obviously, when we're together next, we'll talk about Appendix C, which is the complementary piece for session 3. So for today, we're done. I know it's heartbreaking that it's gone so fast. Most of you would rather just spend hours a day interacting with me virtually. I know that you would like to do that. So I have to conclude this video with the attendance verification question. It comes from that really important update on the stunning theft up on the 3rd floor just a day or 2 ago. So the question that I ask for you that you must verify in an email to me: who stole the mittens? That's the question. Let me know. Love you. Talk with you soon.